They say there are places where trees grow too quietly, places where the wind doesn't move the leaves. It listens. One of those places is in the state of Wisconsin, a small town called Elm Creek. Nothing special about it. A normal school, normal houses, normal children, and a forest standing just a little too close. At least, that's how it was until the fall of 2007. Everything began with a security camera near the schoolyard, an old camera, low quality, barely maintained. One morning, the school guard was reviewing the footage when something strange caught his attention. At the far edge of the yard, near the tree line, there was someone standing, very tall, unnaturally tall, wearing a black suit. The face was impossible to see. At first, he thought it was a prank, a student, a mannequin. But when he rewound the footage, the figure was still there, 4 hours, not moving, not shifting, just standing. That same afternoon, a boy went missing. He was 9 years old. His name was Michael Harper. His classmates told police that Michael said he was going into the forest after school because his new friend was waiting for him there. The forest was searched. Police, volunteers, dogs. They found nothing. Nothing except a small notebook, a child's notebook. Inside were drawings, page after page, all the same figure, tall, thin, faceless. On the last page, a sentence was written in shaky handwriting. He doesn't talk, he shows. 2 days later, another child disappeared, a girl named Sarah. Before she vanished, she left a voice message on her mother's phone. At first, there was only silence, then the sound of leaves, then a quiet, trembling voice. "Mom, he says I shouldn't turn around." The recording ended with a scream. The town panicked. Children were forbidden from going near the forest. The school closed early. Parents walked their kids home. But something else started happening. Something worse. People began noticing him in old photographs. Photos taken years before. Photos where he was never supposed to be. Standing behind groups of children between trees in the background, watching. The Harper family photo became the most disturbing. Michael stood in front of his house, smiling. Behind him, between the trees, was a dark figure. When the image was enlarged, there was no face. A week later, police discovered a cabin deep in the forest, abandoned, rotting, silent. Inside was a wooden table. On it, dozens of drawings. Children standing beside the same tall man, all holding hands, all smiling. On the floor lay a piece of paper, written in a child's handwriting. He says the forest is a door, and it opens only for those who stare too long. The investigation was officially closed. Lack of evidence. Unofficially, several officers refused to ever return to that forest. One of them later said, "It felt like someone was counting our steps." Years passed. The cabin eventually burned down. No signs of fire damage anywhere else. No explanation. Everything turned to ash. Everything except a table. And on a table lay a new drawing. 3 adult men in police uniforms and a tall figure standing behind them. In the corner, a message. "He sees through you now." To this day, locals avoid the forest near Elm Creek. They say that sometimes you can see a dark silhouette between the trees. It doesn't move, it doesn't chase, it just stands there. And if you look at it for too long, you'll notice it's closer than it was before. Some visitors claim their phones stop working deep in the woods. Photos distort, videos fill with static. And sometimes, for just a few frames, long black arms appear between the trees. There is one last detail. Everyone who tried to investigate this story too deeply reported the same thing. They began seeing him in reflections, in dark windows, in mirrors, standing behind them. They heard the sound of paper, as if someone was writing a letter never meant to be read. If you ever find yourself near the Elm Creek forest and you notice the trees are too quiet, don't look between them, and never, ever count the footsteps behind you, because some legends only exist until you believe in them. And once you do, they start watching back. The next time you hear leaves moving, make sure it's really the wind, because if it isn't, the forest might be watching you. End.